The year was 1973, and the comet Kohoutek was due to pay its first visit to the inner solar system, a visitation that was supposed to result in a spectacular display of outgassing. Kohoutek was named by the media as the comet of the century. While scientists welcomed its coming, others believed that its coming augured doomsday. The comet became a popular sensation and was a source of inspiration for the arts. The subject of a Peanuts comic strip where Snoopy and Woodstock hide under a blanket, referenced in Mexican poet Jaime Sabines' poem Veremos, and featured in the Burl Ives song The Tale of the Comet Kohoutek, a very fine lady. In the end, this harbinger of doom that threatened the cessation of existence wasn't very spectacular at all. However, in celebration of life not being annihilated, since January 1974, Pitzer College's Kohoutek Music and Arts Festival has honored the comet's passing, even though it was kind of meh.
All right. Absolutely. Welcome to our annual Festival of Flavors. We have some wonderful treats prepared by students and staff waiting for you outside. And this year we have Mariachi Reina, who will be playing for you, and they're absolutely spectacular. I'm thrilled that they're here. So this year, Kohoutek celebrates its 40th anniversary. The Grove House is 37 years old. Our Nepal program is 40 years old. Our New Resources program is also 40 years old. And the Pitzer Pomona Sage Hens are 41 years old. And we are, of course, a half century. It strikes me that the faux doomsday Kohoutek comet was a wonderfully kind of oxymoronic festival choice for a college founded just a decade earlier that had Proita Futuri, mindful of the future, as its motto. And while we don't have an official college song, Pitzer has never had a song of its own, despite what you might see on YouTube, which I guess for some functions as our song.
Pitzer College say you'll never change and never give in to the man.
You have no idea how long I had to listen to that to find actually lyrics I could show you. We have celebrated, danced to, and played music on our campus since our beginning. 5 years ago, Pitzer was begat as part of the Blaisdell Plan, and we were preceded by 4 sister colleges. The Pitzer family have been longtime benefactors of the Pomona Valley community, and through their philanthropy helped found the Pomona Valley Hospital, as well as CMC and Harvey Mudd colleges. They have had a long-standing belief in liberal education, and a member of the family has always been a Pitzer College trustee. So I thought I'd show you a very carefully staged clip from 1963, where the then Claremont presidents reenacted for the camera the birth of Pitzer College.
This is a committee on future colleges. Its members, the 5 college presidents and selected trustees.
As you know, we have already approved a women's college for about 300 students, offering a liberal education in the arts with special emphasis on social sciences and economics.
The new college was to be kept small, and it was determined by their Claremont elders that its curriculum would have particular emphasis on the social and behavioral sciences and humanities. The future for Pitzer was supposed to fall upon rather conventional lines. As John Atherton, Pitzer's first president, recalled years later, a bit tongue-in-cheek, born from a mystical union of the Claremont colleges, masculine CMC and Harvey Mudd, feminine Scripps, grandparents Pomona, and the graduate school, we certainly weren't short of expectation. Our Claremont family had plans for us. We were to be the Scripps of the social sciences. We were to turn out female economists who would be fit brides for CMC politicians and Harvey Mudd engineers. To be a polite and respectful new child and not unduly disturb our gracious mother Pomona. Well, that certainly worked out well. In a moving conversation that I had with Werner Warmbrunn shortly before his passing, he was a founding faculty member, and at the time, when we were founded, academic assistant to the president, I asked him what were the 11 faculty trying to accomplish, and he said it was of critical importance that Pitzer be a place where the individual was nurtured and where everyone would be an active participant in the life of the college as well as in their education. President Atherton marveled at this new institution, and he called Pitzer the wonder child who came to transform the world. And there could be no better time for a new liberal arts college. The date of our founding was February 21st, 1963, and in the fall of 1964, we welcomed 153 women from 16 states and 5 countries, from California to Massachusetts, from Sweden to Uganda. In an open letter sent to all incoming students, President Atherton expressed his vision. The time in which Pitzer was founded was one of extraordinary social change. As Shahan was saying earlier, and Russ Pitzer as well, against this roiling political, social, and rock and roll backdrop, Pitzer welcomed its first class where they encountered an interesting mixture of 1950s holdovers, like being referred to as President Atherton's girls in the local newspaper, or living in a residence hall featuring a lobby with a matron where the women had a mandatory curfew, and where they were weighed and measured by Pomona College men. Yet even in those early days, amidst the cultural effluvia of an earlier decade, there were stirrings of a new era. In the summer of '64, Pitzer students were assigned a book by Myra Manns, More in Anger. Manns was sharply critical of the limited choices that women had and was invited to lecture at Pitzer. She urged the females of Pitzer College to contribute, and this is what she had to say. The doors must be opened, was her message. When the college welcomed its incoming class, its physical plant consisted of Scott Hall and Sanborn Hall. The administration was housed at CMC, and students used the CMC cafeteria. At its founding, the Pitzer family gave the college a $2 million gift to create an endowment, and this document has been preserved. And as you can see, it is in pencil. And this actually constituted the college's finances and facilities plans at the time. We would have 3 graduates at commencement that year: Marlene Bates, who gave birth 3 weeks prior to commencement, Catherine Gibbs, a student body leader, and Nicole Scheel, who worked throughout the year to help create our system of self-governance. Our students chose as their commencement speaker poet James Dickey and designed their regalia beginning 2 50-year traditions. Office of Academic Affairs. Pitzer was founded on the ideal that the relationship between the faculty and students is as creative, inspiring, and powerful as it is primary and necessary. In the beginning, there were 11, just 11 faculty to be followed by many more. In the current atmosphere, this ideal may appear outdated and impractical, but just as we did in our founding, we reject what others take to be conventional wisdom. Over the past decade, the college has seen a generation of faculty retire and the student-faculty ratio reduced from 14 to 10 to 1. The size of the faculty has increased by nearly 40%, and 52% of our current faculty were hired within the past decade. Pitzer faculty are teachers, scholars, activists, advocates, and mentors. This last year, faculty continued their record of scholarly productivity with the publication of numerous journal articles and books with many conference presentations. 2 of the college's long-serving faculty retired this past year, Kate Rogers as well as Kathryn Miller. And as these cycles go, we welcomed new faculty to the college. And this year, we will undertake faculty searches in studio art, economics, and modern languages, literatures, and cultures. This past year was the inaugural year for our Institute for Global Local Action and Study and for the Redford Conservancy for Southern California Sustainability. A recent development in our Keck Science Department was the launching this past August of a Howard Hughes-funded Summer Science Immersion Program. This program was designed for incoming students for all of the 3 Keck Science Department schools, who are the first in their family to attend a 4-year college who were from groups traditionally underrepresented in science and who were from under-resourced high schools. The program was remarkably successful, and it will continue. We had yet another incredible year for our student awards. Pitzer has had the highest number of Fulbrights per capita of all U.S. colleges and universities for 9 out of the last 10 years, and the highest number of actual number of Fulbrights for undergraduate institutions for the past 4 years. And this last year, a remarkable number were awarded to 24 seniors and alumni, an institutional record. I've also included the listing for the other student awards from last year's incredibly talented class. In the Office of Student Affairs, in the spring semester, we hired a new vice president, Brian Carlisle, and this August saw the arrival of 260 first-year students to the college, for which Student Affairs planned and carried out a successful new student orientation program. The OA program, our Orientation Adventure program, offered 20 different experiences throughout Southern California. Pitzer students were involved in this past year on over 60 clubs on campus and more than 100 across the Claremont colleges. Also last year, 110 Pitzer students participated in varsity athletics, a record number. And in addition to ongoing activities and programs, students produced and performed in 3 large music festivals, Reggae Fest in the fall, Kohoutek, and Rockabilly in the spring. Also, over the years, Pitzer students have been prolific in their prose efforts, and some of these covers may be familiar to some of you. Senate this year has 50 active members that represent student interests, and they're led by Nick Romo. And they provide their perspectives on all of the standing committees of the college. And last year, students, faculty, and staff once again committed more than 100 hours of community service. The Office of Admissions. 50 years ago, there were 153 students. In the fall of '64, our student of color population was 6%, and this translates into a total of 7 students. Today, Pitzer continues our positive trend in admissions, financial aid, and retention. Currently, our student body consists of approximately 1,000 students, 60% female, and 35% students of color. For this entering class, we received over 4,100 applications and offered admission to a record low, just 14.5%. We remain a part of a very elite group of institutions that are among the most selective in the country. 58% of the entering class, the largest percentage to date, comes from outside California. This class has the largest number of students of color in our history, nearly 40%. We also realized a significant increase in international students this year, constituting 10% of our incoming class. And overall, our yield was 41%, or as it says, 42%, and the average GPA for committed students is 3.85. The yield means that more and more Pitzer is the first choice for students. As we all know, though, however, these numbers are a crude measurement of our commitment to nurturing a diverse student body and celebrating what's unique and original in all of our students. And while the percentage of all Pitzer students receiving financial aid has remained flat over the past decade, currently approximately 40% of our students, those on financial aid are receiving more support than ever. The average need-based award increased by 51%. Office of the Treasurer. Thanks to the help of the Treasurer's office staff, Pitzer has secured considerable financial strength. Over the past decade, in the midst of the '08 recession and a declining economy, our endowment increased by 172%. Our pooled endowment performance for the past year was nearly 10%, and our spending rate on the endowment for the last year and this year remained at 4.3%. As you can see, 09-10, that was obviously when the recession hit. Increases in the cost of education are driven by the need to offer competitive salaries, to provide increasingly sophisticated technology, to maintain aging facilities, and to enhance academic program offerings and student support services. For the past decade, enhancing faculty and staff salaries has been a priority. An interesting data point is the first time that Pitzer was represented in the AAUP statistics was in '65-66, and at the time we didn't have any full professors, and the average salary was $8,600. We've also made progress on enhancing staff compensation by moving minimum hourly wage rates from 5 to 10% above Los Angeles County living wage, and continued the salary administration program for market comparison and equity adjustments. This year, we fully funded the employer's contribution increase in benefit plans, and this year we will be looking at increasing the institutional contribution to the staff health plan. In mid-June, we received notice from Moody's that they had upgraded our bond rating from A3 positive to A2 stable, the highest rating that the college has ever held, at a time when Moody's has downgraded the entire sector of higher education. We actually improved. Last year, our 4 LEED Platinum, 100,000 square foot mixed-use residence halls opened and have had quite a transformational effect on our campus. I want to thank everyone who was involved in the project. This was envisioned by the community, faculty, students, and staff in their 2000 campus master plan, and it's really quite exciting to see it becoming reality. We also have received a number of architectural awards for this latest phase of our residence halls. As I think you're all aware, the college's oldest building, Scott Hall, underwent a needed renovation. The president's residence is on schedule and budget, and we learned over the summer that it will be the first LEED-rated home in Claremont. With the scheduled move-in date in January, I'm excited to be moving back in, although I've enjoyed living in the village. Planning has started for all of the usual spring receptions and meetings that typically take place there. Also last summer, a significant upgrade was made to all of the suites and rooms in Mead Hall, and the kitchen was fully remodeled. A major remodel of the Gold Student Center has obviously commenced, with the building closed and the current offices relocated to Holden. This building will have an emphasis on health and wellness, and we are installing yoga and Pilates studios where classes will be available for faculty, staff, and students. Also, the Shakedown Cafe will be considerably upgraded with a much larger footprint. And we're also looking at a major renovation of the McConnell Dining Hall kitchen. It actually hasn't been enlarged since, I think, the founding of the school, as well as ongoing improvements to the Grove House. So we've now completed phases 1 and 2 of the master plan, and we have one left. This will be the last mixed usage residence hall, as well as a science building that will be constructed on the southwest corner of our campus, and planning for that will start this year. In the Office of Advancement, there survives a document in the college's archives dated October 14, 1964, from President Atherton to Mrs. Peter Newman, thanking her for her $1 contribution, remarking that hers was actually the first gift ever made to Pitzer College. Well, many dollars have followed hers, and despite economic uncertainties, Advancement had a great year with a record amount being raised of over $16 million. And Pitzer's senior class had a 99% participation rate, and this was the highest of the Claremont colleges, continuing our winning tradition, 7 out of the last 8 years. And I hear now that the other colleges don't want to have a senior competition, I think because we win it every time. So apparently we now have won it forever. So that's good for us. Faculty and staff participation in the annual fund was an astounding 90%, with a total of $31,000 raised as compared to last year's $18,000, a 71% increase. And for the 7th year in a row, we're #1 among all liberal arts colleges for employee participation. I just want to thank all of you, and please give yourselves a round of applause. It's very, very, very kind of you. Faculty were very, very active last year in partnership with our advancement office, and we received more than $1.6 million in external grant awards. And Family Weekend, held in February, drew a record 400 attendees, and we totaled more than 300 participants in last year's alumni reunion, both records for the institution. And gifts to the 2013 Reunion Scholarship Fund totaled over $250,000, a huge increase over the previous year's amount, $100,000. And in May of this year, we will celebrate the end of the 50 Forward campaign, and we are well on our way to raising the remaining $8 million. Office of Communications. Vice President for Communications Mark Bailey completed his first year. The public media announcement of the Redford Conservancy garnered great national and international interest, and lest we be accused of only celebrating these more academic ventures, we've also made our mark in popular culture. The college received media attention through placements on Glee and Take Me to Your Mother, that's Nick Mom. The communication staff has done a wonderful job of refreshing the college's website and print materials and presenting the work and accomplishments of our faculty and students in creative and compelling ways. We've also been included in a number of rankings this year, and I thought I would share some of those with you. I think that we're #1 in food is fantastic. I mean, it really, when you walk on this, we are such a foodie campus. We cannot make enough gardens. I hear already that the Grove House has plans to create even more gardens for us. I am extremely fortunate to work with an incredibly talented group of true professionals and also very athletic people, my vice presidential cabinet, and I deeply value their commitment and their talent as well. That's what we do on our retreats. We play hockey, we're playing basketball. And I also want to thank the President's Office staff for their support because I could not really, absolutely, truly function without them. If I were asked to describe the 2 projects that took all of my time and, believe me, all of my energy this past year, I would simply say real estate, both purchasing it and walking across it. Last fall, we saw the successful property purchase from the CUC that will be the site of the Redford Conservancy, and over the summer, I walked the John Muir Trail with a wonderful group of Pitzer people, alumni, parents, faculty, and current students, and my son, Spark. The John Muir Trail hike truly was an adventure, and it was really a remarkable experience to spend that kind of time with Pitzer students. And it was the most time I realized afterwards that I had spent with my son, 24/7, sleeping across from him, 5 inches away in a very small tent, since he was probably about 5 or 6 years old. And that was great. Also, which was very special for me, is that we raised over $55,000 in financial aid for first-generation students. And again, I really want to thank you for your support. I said don't do that. I said don't, stop it, it's dangerous, and see, this is the effect that I have. It was quite a trip. In all, I think I wound up walking almost 190 miles, and lost, I have to say, a lot of weight and one of my toenails. And I also realized that prior to this hike, if I had really thought about it and you had clearly explained what this was all about, I would have thought it was impossible. And after this, I realized, the limitations are just what you set for yourself. And I was just thrilled and pleased and honored to be with this particular group. I did think, though, that the next time I want to celebrate Pitzer, I might want to try a sit-in. that might be a lot easier. So along the way, I was supposed to take loads of pictures and videos, but frankly, I was too exhausted to. And I thought I would share one very brief home movie with you that I took. We are at Hermit's Peak. We spent the night just shy of Colby Lake. It was gorgeous. We're climbing up yet another unbelievably high pass. It's killing us bit by bit, inch by inch. But we're gutsy people. We'll make it, right? Right. And then we can have a lovely evening of attempting to not collapse before we can get the tent up. Yahoo! Oh yeah, we're having some fun. Oh, man. I could use the John Muir Trail as a metaphor for our own progress, a challenging vertical climb. Here we are, 50 years old, with a spectacular view and vistas in the distance, but that's a little easy. We are again living in a historical moment when others see nothing but doom ahead. Even our government is closed today. They look up into the sky and wait for it to fall. We don't scare that easily at Pitzer. We really don't. In times of fear and change, we cleave tightly to our founding principles and ideals. We seek the most effective ways to stimulate and develop a love of learning, and we're open to and encourage innovation here. As we work diligently in the coming months to conclude our 50 Forward campaign, as well as plan for the celebration of our big 50th birthday party on May 3rd and graduation of our 50th class, we also know that these moments of closure represent new beginnings. The adventure has just begun. You will not regret it, said Board Chair Odell McConnell in 1967. And as each year of my presidency unfolds, I'm ever more grateful to be part of this great adventure that is Pitzer College. Thank you so much.